Hello and welcome to this episode of Kaleidoscope, the podcast. As you can see, I'm on my own. Um, and I wasn't going to do. I took an awful cold. You might hear it. Really severe one. Took a feet from under me and I kind of lay on the sofa for several days. So I had to cancel a whole pile of things, including my podcast guest, but hopefully I'll have her on next week. So I wasn't going to do anything. And then I was adjusting my background for tonight because why not? Let's just shake it up now and again and say, not sure it works, but we'll see. So I thought I would pop on and give you my latest change, my latest update, my latest um, processing, shall we call it. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that recently I was up at the cancer centre for a scan on the 8th of March. And then on the 18th of March, I went for my results. And everything is progressing as you would expect. Things are growing, which is not the result we'd hoped for. With the changes to diet and so on and so forth, we thought, hoped, prayed, things would start to turn around. But they haven't. And do you know what? That's okay. It is what it is. And I know there's some people out there. I was working with a lady this week and she goes, I hate that expression. And I know you do, but for me, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm not giving up. I'm not, excuse me, pardon me, becoming desolate or despondent or any of those things. It's not that kind of reaction. The reaction is my question to them then was there's no treatment for what I have. And there are treatments. The treatments wouldn't work. And I think what they do is they give you the treatments that they would give to me to slow things down, um, possibly slow things down. But the side effects are, for me, are not worth it. For other people, I know there's other people do it. I'm more part of their elbow that they have the strength and the ability to put up with the amount of pain, etc., that they go through on those medications. I'm not doing that. And it's not chemotherapy. Chemotherapy does not work for what I have. Radiotherapy does not work for what I have. It's a hormone therapy that would completely deplete my estrogen. I'm postmenopausal. I don't have very much estrogen anyway. I already have achy elbows and things from a lack of estrogen. So you take all the estrogen away, then your bones get weak and your joints get even sore and brain fog and all sorts of things, mood swings, all sorts of things. So I decided when they first offered it that I wasn't going to take the hormone because for me it's about quality over quantity. I don't want to be here for a long time in pain. I have a reasonable amount. The biggest issue I have, there are a couple of issues. Let's not pretend that there aren't any issues at all. Biggest one is tiredness. Gosh almighty. Um, Another issue that is becoming more and more relevant is I can't lift any weights, and that's more to do with the number of hernias I have. Um, I was carrying groceries, nothing majorly heavy on Saturday, and I ended up feeling sick because I just can't carry the weights anymore. And um, urgency and frequency to pee. And I got a radar key a year ago, maybe. I've only had to use it once, where I got really needed to go to an accessible toilet rather than going further. Accessible toilets are sometimes closer than going further and risking, wetting myself. Um, I got a sunflower lanyard with a wee card in it that has my contact details, what the issue is, and my emergency contact, which would be Stephen. And I also got a thing off Macmillan that said due to my treatment, which is a bit of a lie. It's not due to my treatment, it's due to my condition. I need to use your toilet urgently. Again, I've only used the lanyard once to actually go to the bathroom. And that was in the rugby. And it was when I seen the queue outside the ladies, I was like, again, I wet myself. If I have to stand in that queue, I wet myself. but there was nobody in the queue for the accessible, so I used my lanyard then. And uh, Stansted, when I'm coming home from London, if you use it at Stansted, instead of having to do that snake of queuing, you can actually bypass and go. So I've used my lanyard 3 times. So I don't think that's excessive. I don't think I'm swinging the lead. Danny would have said, swinging the lead. Um, but I asked them, what's the point in the scans? If I'm not having any treatment, what are the point in the scans? And they kind of went, she said, do you know, we knew at our multidisciplinary meeting, we said the next question she's going to ask is, what's the point in the scans? I she went, there isn't any. There isn't any. Um, I kind of, in my naivety, was hoping that if I got to a point where the tumours were infringing on organs or whatever, that they might operate at that stage. Um, so that was another thing, was I got called up to see the surgeon. I was all surprised, and Stephen says he wants to know what you're doing, because at that stage some of them were, one of the tumours was shrinking. I went, he's a surgeon, he's not about interested in what I'm doing. Um, and it was a mistake. And I think for me it was a chance to say goodbye, because it had been such a shock for me for him to say, you've had so many surgeries, we can't do any more. That was kind of not when I was originally told all about this disease. It was, we'll just keep cutting it out until there's nothing left to cut out. I maybe misheard that. I maybe misremembered it. It might have been, we'll cut it out until we're not able to anymore. Which again, I would have thought would have been when there's nothing left in there to take out anymore. Whereas actually it was when you've had too many surgeries that we can't actually give you any more surgeries. And that would be because of hernias. Every time they operate recently, I get another hernia. So I have about 5 or 6 hernias now. And some of them are simple things. I was cleaning out the bird bath. I ended up ill for a week, and at the end of that week, I found I had another hernia. And it was getting the new, ripping myself a new hernia was what I'd call caused the illness. So I've decided no more scans, and I've decided no more blood tests. Because again, the blood tests, if the tumours are growing, the bloods are just going to keep going up. And that's no. So you're waiting on tests, you're waiting on results, you're waiting on blood tests, and you're waiting on blood results. And the blood results, because they all go to Charing Cross, I don't know. We have this working theory. We have this theory in our little group of GCT uh, survivors in Ireland that um, they wait till they've got a batch and they run them all at once. And to gather up a batch, because they're so for the general population, it's like 2% of the whole population will have GCT. GCT stands for Granulosa Cell Tumour. So they're not going to do, I don't know in what way they test it compared to anybody else's, but it mustn't be cost effective enough to test mine when it comes in. So the quickest I've ever had them back, I think, was the first time this time around, which would have been I got them done in, I think, till August, beginning of August. I got the results in the September. Unheard of. Unheard of. I have waited a whole year for results sometimes. And you can't live your life waiting. And as much as I have all the emotional well-being tools and I practice them regularly, there is still that underlying thing of you're waiting for results, you're waiting to go for scans, you're waiting to go for blood tests, always waiting. And I just went, I can't wait anymore. I'm done waiting. And to the period in between getting the results and going for the next scan, whether it be 3 months or 6 months, because they were doing it every 3 months. And then I said to them, it's pointless. Particularly, it started to take in my thyroid and breast material rather than just the abdomen. And I'm like, now you're starting to go to places that you will cause illness, and you're making me more vulnerable. So I cut it down from 3 months to 6 months. So the time between getting your results and the next scan isn't too bad. But the time between your scan and waiting for your results can be awful, truly awful, because you don't know what they're going to tell you. And thankfully, I have the tools. Thankfully, I have all the tools and a very, very supportive family that I can, and friends, very supportive friends, and friends who understand when I'm angry and forgive me, and then forgive me for crying and allow me to cry and give me the space to process. So I've decided no more scans, no more blood tests, because they don't truly reflect, for me, this is a very personal choice for me. They don't truly reflect for me how I feel, because I still feel well. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, I occasionally need to go to the toilet a little bit more urgently or a little bit more often than other people. But actually, if I didn't know that it was a symptom, I would probably just think that was the menopause. Or it was just me. And the tiredness could just be I have autism and ADHD. I mask a lot without even knowing it at times. There's times I'm doing it and then I catch myself on after the fact and go, okay, why am I masking in this situation? What's going on? Why am I not feeling comfortable right now? What I need to process. And that could be the tiredness. The tiredness might not have anything to do with the cancer at all. And so for me, the scans and the blood tests weren't actually reflective of how I feel. And so I've decided not to have any more. And that's the right decision for me. It's not the right decision for everybody. Particularly if you are having a treatment that can work for you, then it's not the right decision, but it's the right decision for me. So that's my latest change. They are going to phone me every 3 months. Again, I will probably get to the stage where I go, why are you phoning me? I don't understand why you're phoning me. Because I imagine if at some stage I intend to be here till I'm 84. And I know God, the angels, universe, source, all it is, whatever you want to call it, may have other plans. I absolutely accept that. But I intend to be here till I'm 84. And if I'm going to be here till I'm 84, I don't really want the oncology guys phoning me every 3 months to ask how I am. And if I take ill, I can go to my GP and I'm sure I can get slotted straight back into the system if I need to. But equally, even if I get ill, I don't know what it is that oncology is going to do for me that my GP can't do at that stage because there is no treatment. I did ask about immunology to boost my immune system, and she just went, yeah, you're not going to get that. And I don't know whether it's so expensive. You have to be much sicker than I am, uh, which I haven't done the research and I don't know, but I kind of think if you boost somebody's immune system while their immune system is still working, you have a chance of curing it. Maybe I don't understand it well enough. Um, Rather than if you wait until they're somebody's really poorly and then give them when their immune system is already too depleted. Like I say, I haven't done the research. I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but hey ho, that's where we are. So this is the latest change and processing that I'm going through. That I'm no longer in that hamster wheel cycle of waiting, testing, scanning, waiting for results. I've stepped out. And I am looking for joy and contentment in my life now and happiness. And that's what I'm going with. I'm going to rejoice in how well I am. I'm going to rejoice in the fact that I can put a text out to somebody and say, who's going to come and help me lift this stuff? And people will go, I'm free that day. I'll come and help you. Rejoice in the fact that I have lovely, lovely friends and acquaintances and family members that will go, yeah, we can do that for you. That's not a problem. Uh, you might get pissed off at some stage, particularly if I start taking the hand, but I'll try not to take the hand. Um, so that's the latest change and transformation for me, as well as my background. So you can let me know what you think of the background, whether it's any. I was thinking the white was wiping me out. I was looking sicker and sicker than I am, just because I was against a white background. So I thought if I had a warmer background, it might it might help me look less washed out. And I know there's people out there who are going, put on a bit of makeup. Um, no. Um, no, just no. No. If you do the research, makeup's poisonous. Some makeup is poisonous. And the makeup that's not poisonous is usually expensive. And I don't wear it often enough, so I forget, and then I rub my eye, and then I'll end up with a whole black eye just because I was wearing mascara or something silly. So I wear makeup about 4 times a year. Maybe not even. That might be an exaggeration. Um, so no, that's not for me. That's not who I am. But you can tell me what you think of the background. Does it do? I think I look less washed out than I do on the white background, but who knows? Um, I hope this helps somebody to realize that you have choices. You don't just have to follow the protocol blindly. You need to do your research. You absolutely need to do your research. Don't just follow what I've said. I suppose part of the thing for me is that when I did my research, I had tests done on the tumors, and the tumors were only they showed a weak receptivity to the estrogen. So then why would you lower my estrogen? If it was a strong indication, then I probably would be on the tablets. But it wasn't. So you need to do your research, get your levels tested. Whatever it is, whatever right for you. For me it was a case of they were going to give me this without having tested my estrogen. Pardon me. So I went and I got my estrogen tested. And um I did something else. Yes, I reached out to the Granulosa Cell Tumour girls, and I didn't actually reach out. I just went through and read a lot of their posts to see what they were going through, the ones that were on that sort of medication to see. And I did look at. They give you when they say we're prescribing this. They give you like 3 or 4 pages of contraindicators of the things that are going to go wrong. And I'm like, no. So I get if you're a much younger woman than me with a young family and you want quantity, you want to be here. I want to be here. I want to see what my daughter does, and I want to see what my grandchildren do because they are the funniest wee beings. Um, funny light of my life. They are fabulous. I want to see what primary schools they go to and what high schools they go to, and I do want to be here, but not at any cost. Not at the expense of the quality of life that I have currently. And that's the beautiful thing. You can do your research and you can make your choice and you can make your mind up. All done with conversations with family members, with conversations with the oncologist. This was not standalone decisions. This was not me being bloody minded. They were informed choices. So it's a you have the choice, but do your research so that it's an informed choice. Um, there are lots of support organisations out there: Action Cancer, Macmillan, Cancer Focus. Um, there are some that are more localised than those big ones. Um, reach out to them. Some that do all sorts of things. Counselling, reflexology, auricular acupressure, to name a few. So do your research and make an informed choice. And if you have any issues with this, please get contact. We'll have a chat if we can. But yeah, tell me what you think about the background. And yes, I know I need my haircut. Isn't it? Wow, look. But it starts to go curly and all, which I love. No other people that drives them insane. But for me, it's but yeah, I'll maybe ring the hairdressers. Oh my God. Thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. Thank you very much for your support for the podcast. If you would like to hit like and subscribe so that you get notified when the next one drops. I wish you well, or as well as you can be. Thank you. Bye.